Recording. So once again, you are all welcome to this special Zoom session. As a matter of fact, it's a maiden Zoom session that we are having in the year 2024 to talk about certain things, probably not things which are new to us. I'll just be, in fact, iterating on some aspects which most of us are already conversant with, but I'll be putting a lot of emphasis in some of those areas which probably some people might not actually be seeing, you know, the bigger picture that this business is actually representing in some of those areas. So I'm going to be throwing more light in some of those areas. But a quick disclaimer here, as usual, the content of this slide is solely for information purposes and constitutes no call to action. So make sure that you do your own findings or do your own verifications or carry out your own research before you take the decision, which is a decision that you're going to be happy with. So don't feel coerced or obliged to take, you know, a decision based on what you get from the information that will be dished out in this particular session. Very important. Now, as of now, there are still too many persons who find it difficult to make the difference between the smart coin and the Ultima token. I'm saying this because I receive a lot of questions inbox. So many people sending questions to me inbox, asking me, this smart coin, you people asked us to swap community coins. And now we are hearing of something called Ultima token. Is it the same as the smart coin you people asked us to swap community coins for? So people still find it difficult to make the difference between the smart coin and the Ultima token. So please, as usual, if this Zoom goes off, always make sure you click on the same link and you join us again. Now, there is a huge difference between the smart coin and the Ultima token. As the names imply, smart coin, for those of you who still don't understand, a smart coin in simple terms, or a coin, because all of them are cryptocurrencies. You have two categories of cryptocurrencies, those we refer to as coins and those we refer to as tokens. All of them are cryptocurrencies, but they have differences. We have so many types of coins, cryptocurrency coins. Smart coin is just one of those many examples. Just like we have many types of tokens, cryptocurrencies called tokens. The Ultima token is just one of those many types, or those many examples. Now, what is the difference between a coin and a token? The only thing that makes the difference between these two is at the level of what we call the blockchain. There is one of them that has a blockchain and the other does not have a blockchain of its own. For instance, for any cryptocurrency to be referred to as a coin means that that particular cryptocurrency must own a blockchain of its own. It must have a blockchain of its own, meaning it is not using the blockchain of another person. In other words, for somebody to be called a landlord, he must be the owner of a house, not a tenant. So a token is like a tenant, somebody who is renting a house that belongs to another person. The landlord is actually the owner of the house. I'm not talking of a caretaker. I'm talking of the landlord, meaning the person who owns the building, the proprietor of the building. That is what a coin is. So a building in this case is what I'm referring to as the blockchain. So a cryptocurrency which owns a blockchain of its own is called a coin. While a cryptocurrency which is existing on the blockchain which is owned by another cryptocurrency is called a token. That is the difference between a coin and a token in cryptocurrencies. That's the basic difference. Then in general, tokens in most cases often have limited applications. Means that they are designed to be used for particular applications. They have a field of application. If you go out of that field, they become useless. Now, let us come back to our own system. In our own company right now, we have two types of cryptocurrencies, or two cryptocurrencies we are dealing with. The first one is called the smart coin. You already know what a coin is. And the second one is called the Ultima token. You know what a token is. Now, what is the difference between these two? Or why is our company dealing with these two cryptocurrencies? That is what is important for us to understand. Why am I trying to explain all of this? Is because I have received several messages inbox of people saying that we no longer talk about the smart coin again. You said you people asked us to swap community coins for the smart coin. Now nobody is mentioning smart coin anywhere. Every day people seem to be talking about Ultima tokens. Ultima tokens every day. No much talking is done again on the smart coin. Now it's almost like the smart coin has been abandoned to the advantage of the Ultima token, which is actually wrong, which is not true. So the first thing we need to understand here is what is the use of a smart coin and what is the use of the Ultima token. When you understand the uses, then you actually understand the various contexts within which each of these cryptocurrencies is supposed to be discussed. It's not every time that I have to be talking about Ultima tokens. It's not every time that I have to be talking about the smart coin. I can only talk of either of them depending on the context or depending on what I'm about to do at a particular time. That is when a particular cryptocurrency, between these two is actually mentioned. But for clarity's sake, I'm going to explain one more time the function of the smart coin before I now go ahead to explain to you how you can make money out of the smart coin, especially for people who had swapped their community coins. Now they said we swapped the community coins, now we have the smart coins. So how do we make use of the smart coin? I'm going to explain that also. But let's begin from the fundamentals. What is the function of the smart coin? Very important. Take a look at this picture. From this picture, you are going to have some clarity on the function of the smart coin and of course the function of the Ultima token. All of them have independent functions. So this picture that you see here, as a matter of fact, this is a financial transaction that is about to take place between two persons. You have this person called A and this person called B. As a matter of fact, when I say A, this person can only be seen through what we call a wallet. So even if you are an individual called A and another individual called B, you people want to get into a financial transaction, you as a person A is identified through the wallet in which you have the money inside, which you want to transfer to B. And B also is identified through the name of his wallet or through the address of his wallet. So as a matter of fact, this is wallet A trying to communicate with wallet B. Now, this is how it works with our own system. The currencies that we have here, notably the smart coin and the Ultima token, have a network on which they circulate, and that network is called the smart blockchain. So without the smart blockchain, there can be no movement from point A to point B of any of these coins, be it the Ultima token or the smart coin. So they require a network to function on, and that network is called the smart blockchain. Now, how does it work? If I want to move smart coins from A's wallet to B's wallet, just like it happens in a bank, somebody is in the US, wants to send money to somebody in a country in Africa through a bank. There is no way that person can be able to send that money to that person in Africa through that bank without paying what we call charges, bank charges. The bank charges represents the fuel that the money is going to use to travel all the way from USA, where the money is being sent from, to the person here in Africa. So what we refer to as bank charges are synonymous to petrol that the car uses. If the vehicle is supposed to leave from point A to point B to go and deliver money, that vehicle requires a certain fuel. If that fuel is not there, this vehicle cannot move to go and deliver this money. So the fuel in this context is called smart coin, which means that on this smart blockchain, which is the network on which our two cryptocurrencies are existing, if there is no petrol inside this car, and the car here, like I said, is the smart blockchain. So if the smart blockchain does not receive petrol, it will not be able to make the transfer from point A to point B to go and deliver the Ultima token, for instance, or to deliver the same fuel, meaning to deliver the same smart coin. So it's either you are removing or you are moving smart coins from point A to point B, or you are moving Ultima tokens from point A to point B. All of them are taking place on the same network, which is called the smart blockchain. But the condition is the car which is doing that transportation must have fuel inside. If there's no fuel, the car cannot move to do the delivery. And the fuel in this context is called the smart coin. So without the smart coin, there is no way the delivery can be done from point A to point B. In other words, the person who is transferring the money from USA to somebody in Africa, if the person goes there, sends the amount of money and does not pay the charges, in this case, assuming that the charges the person is supposed to pay in terms of dollars, in our own context, the charges can only be paid using a particular currency, which is called the smart coin. Even if you are transferring all smart tokens, you must pay the charges exclusively using smart coin. So that is the major function of the smart coin. I want us to understand well, for those who have been inboxing and asking, the difference between smart coin and Ultima token. So the main function of the smart coin is that it's going to serve as the gas fee or the petrol, which will be required by this car to go do the deliveries. That is very important for us to understand. Without the smart coin, no activity can take place on the smart blockchain. Now, on the other hand, the Ultima token, as a matter of fact, is actually the currency that is needed to do all the transactions. For instance, the person who is sending money to you from the USA, for instance, if you are found in Cameroon, if you are based in Cameroon, the person sends